Welcome to Heroes on Heroes, the series where I take a superhero or a supervillain and dive deep into their mindsets and motivations. Today, we're going to be looking at the Joker from The Dark Knight, one of the greatest supervillains of all time. Before we get started though, I need three quick things from you. First off, hit that like button down below to show your excitement for this series or this video. Secondly, power up, punch that subscribe button so you never miss an upload from me. And finally, drop a comment down below letting me know who you want me to cover next in this series. Now without further ado, let's get started. When the second installment of Christopher Nolan's Batman trilogy, The Dark Knight, released in 2008, people were shaken to their core over Heath Ledger's role as the Joker. Ledger's Joker would quickly become the consensus for best villain of all time. When I get into conversations with others and ask them why they feel this way, they often point to the iconic laugh, how insane the character is, or how this role may have ultimately led to Ledger's death. I mean, come on, how can you go against a villain that potentially killed its own actor? However, none of those reasons are why I believe that the Joker is the best villain of all time. Instead, I point to what he represents. The Joker is a metaphor for life itself. The following clip, I think, is the best case example of this.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan? You know what I am? I'm a dog chasing cars. I wouldn't know what to do with one if I caught it. You know, I just do things. I'm not a schemer. I try to show the schemers how pathetic their attempts to control things really are. Upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos. I'm an agent of chaos. Oh, and you know the thing about chaos? It's fair.
That scene leads us to answer this question. How does the Dark Knight metaphorically use the Joker's character to symbolize life's unpredictability? There are three ways that this occurs. The first is concreteness, which focuses on realness and tangibility. The second is coherence, which deals with image building. Lastly is novelty. How do you get the consumer to understand the value you are providing? I'd like to discuss these individually.
And here we go.
Concreteness. Concreteness is the idea of metaphors, taking philosophies, and turning them realistic. The goal is to make the product or service feel real via tangibility. An example of this would be seeing positive results from a cleaning company. Turning intangible features into reality can be very difficult. How do you explain the color red or the smell of flowers? Together, the actor and the writers work to create the audience persuasion. The writers develop the character, and then it's up to the actor to translate that character on stage to the audience. Making that character believable as if they could exist in the real world is the tangibility of this role. In The Dark Knight, the Joker is the personification of life itself and all of its curveballs. Once the Joker is captured by the police commissioner says the following to the mayor regarding the Joker.
What do we got?
Nothing. No matches on prints, DNA, dental, clothing is custom, no labels. Nothing in his pockets but knives and lint.
Life exists, but it is not human. Life does not have an identity, and there is no way to trace it. Life is a dynamic unknown. Let's take this a step further with one line from the first scene that I showed. The Joker so calmly says, "Do I really look like a guy with a plan? I just do things." That's his personality. His carefree approach sets up the unpredictability of the character. The key part of the line is, "I just do things." The Joker is out here randomly throwing darts, seeing what is working, and then adjusts from there. Plus, a guy with steadily running makeup, he's definitely not one to seem organized. Life is wildly unpredictable, is always in motion, and acts on the world without warning. These two lines in conjunction with one another personify life through the Joker. We as humans are planners by nature, and we are unaccustomed to acting on the fly. The Joker is the complete opposite. Coherence. Coherence relies on organization and presentation to create effective messages. All information works as puzzle pieces that reveal a much larger image in the end. A great example of this is a metaphor can assist in creating clarity for a client or consumer in understanding what a company does. As I said before, coherence is the image building of a character. The key to this is to understand that the Joker is just here for the games. He does not care about outcomes. The Joker ruthlessly changes his game plan multiple times, whether it be blowing up a hospital or deciding not to kill Batman. The line that ties this together is when he says, quote, "I'm not a schemer. I try to show the schemers how pathetic their attempt to control things really are." This makes him impossible to prepare for because he is always multiple steps ahead. This quote is also where he reveals his hand and the game. All the Joker's trying to do is demonstrate how we as humans crumble when we don't have control. Whether it be taking over the mob, taking away the power of the police, or killing the loved ones of main characters. As humans, we hate uncertainty. We like to know the outcomes of situations before they happen, which is why before we have a tough conversation, we always try to plan it out in our head, and it never goes how we expect it to. Life is so dynamic that we can't possibly manipulate it however much we would like to. You think that you're going to marry your significant other, and then they break up with you after the engagement. You think you're going to go to the NBA, and then you blow out your Achilles and don't properly recover. Life is always changing around us, and we can't prepare for whatever events are thrown our way. Novelty. Familiarity and novelty go hand in hand. How do we introduce the value to ideas or products that are either known or unknown, and each side offers their own set of challenges? Metaphors are a great way to overcome these difficulties by creating symbolism between ideas and something else to make the consumer understand its purpose. That's why analogies work so well. Delivering messages effectively is the hardest part of communication. How do we make someone feel what we are trying to convey? This is why a superhero movie was the perfect fit for this metaphor. Superhero movies always revolve around a battle, typically between good versus evil. What better way to demonstrate the battle against life itself than with a superhero with no superpowers who is just a regular dude aside from being a billionaire? A line from the scene that I showed that demonstrates the novelty is, quote, "Upset the established order and everything becomes chaos. I'm an agent of chaos." The Joker operates mainly on the premise of people fear what they don't understand. Or as the great poet Kanye West said on his song St. Pablo, the media said he's way out of control, but I'm not out of control, I'm just not in their control. The Joker's erratic decision making makes everyone involved uncomfortable. So much so that Batman considers, quote, burning the whole forest down in order to stop him. I mean, do you really blame him? The love of his life was killed because of this guy's games. Humanity is built upon structure. We thrive in it. Society is a structure. The norms, rules, status, and groups all act as controlling functions for human beings. As a machine, society is our way to minimize the effects of life and control it to the best of our ability. The Joker is chaos, a wrecking ball through the side of the building that disrupts the structures we've built. Life is chaos. Whether it be a shooting, a global pandemic, or the stock market crashing, all of these things break down the walls we've built. In the end, the Joker won, and it's both the least talked about event in cinema history and the most realistic portrayal of life that good doesn't always win. It is later implied that Batman disappears from Gotham for 7 years after the events of this movie. Additionally, whether it is being lied to, corruption, murder, having to sacrifice something you love for something else, or pure crazy, this movie represents the twists and turns of life flawlessly. Mind you, the Joker is only on screen for 45 minutes of a 2.5-hour film. Overall, the Joker never cared if he were to get caught. He only cared about dismantling human behavior and proving how easy it is to mess up society. He succeeded. To have a movie where it physically appears as if the good guys won, only to actually have them mentally broken and suffer terrible consequences after the fact, is sheer brilliance. So through the concreteness of the character, built together by the writers and the performance of Heath Ledger, the coherence of the character profile, and the novelty of weaving themes into the character instead of the plot, Heath Ledger's role as the Joker in The Dark Knight not only is one of the best villains of all time, but one of the best storytelling characters as well. The battle to figure out life is a fun one, especially as someone who is hyper-competitive. Although I know no matter how hard I try, I probably will never be able to crack the code. And I have to thank the Joker for teaching me this.
This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. We try to do this thing 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for your daily source of motivation and inspiration. And also let me know in the comments section who you want me to cover next. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace.